Welcome back to the Finals Podcast, people. I am Javon, and that is Guni, and this is another Chelsea reasoning. Before we get started, before we even say our next word, like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. You see me? Up the likes, people, up the subscribing people, subscribe to my thing. On the road to 1,500 subscribers, They try to get there. We try to get there. We're not wait till next year. If we do next year or next week. But we done rumble. Guni, wagwan.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me back on the show, bro. Appreciate it. Appreciate coming back on. Obviously, like the last stream was a bit of a humbling one for me, but you get me. Like, I take accountability for everything that I say. So big up yourself once again for that one. You know what I mean? And also everybody that's watching, big up yourselves as well. Make sure you support the thing. Like Jay said, subscribe, like all of that good stuff. You get me? I'm gonna be here. Yeah, you're gonna see me here more places, more time than other places now. Yeah, so make sure you tune in.
hmm And friend, you see the two faces, we're just here to talk football. And not just football and all, but Chelsea football, the
Mm.
football from the blue side from London, from the blue side of London. And we may have another panelist joining us later on in the show. But Guni, where you want to get started? That Everton, no, I'm sorry, the Everton draw or the Fulham defeat?
Let's start with the Everton draw because obviously these last two results haven't really been our best results over in the Premier League. So let's just talk about that. Um, the Everton draw for me. Look, Goodison Park. You see, with that place, it's never really an easy place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. And especially when I saw the lineup as well, I kind of felt that this might be a struggle today. That's how I felt. However, I felt Maresca kind of needed to look at himself in terms of the substitutions that he didn't make. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
During that game. And I just felt, given the way we've been playing the entire season, yeah, like I said, we got one or two players out, but just given how we played the season, I thought this is the perfect time to break that quote unquote curse that we've got at Goodison
Because
Park.
yeah,
Yeah,
broken a couple curses earlier in the season.
exactly. And that would have further gone on to make a statement, you know. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. I'm not as mad about that as I am with the Fulham result. Obviously, we left with a point, but it's more so the principle of
Mhm.
how we lost the game yesterday. But obviously, we're going to talk about Fulham whenever you're ready to discuss that. But um, yeah, it was just flat. Everton, you know what they did. We knew what they were going to do before the game. Even though they were at home, it's just the Sean Dyche style. He's just
Mhm.
there to frustrate. If he can snatch a goal and sit back, that's exactly what they do. They're happy to do that. Shameless football, they call it. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's what you're going to get with Sean Dyche. He's never been any different. He's just that kind of manager. And so disappointing, but we move. Fulham yesterday was a great opportunity to get 3 points to bounce back.
Mhm.
Fulham haven't won there for several decades, I believe it is. It's
43 years, I think,
there
if I'm
you
not
go.
mistaken.
43 years is the number. I thought it was around that region, but I didn't want to say in case I was wrong. But 43
Mhm.
years is a long time. So they actually came to Stamford Bridge and they broke a curse. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They made the statement when it was supposed to be us making the statement. And for me, once
Mhm.
again, I've got to look at Maresca in terms
Mhm.
of the substitutions and why you're not using certain players during the game. Now, there's been a lot of talk on João Felix. I'm not a huge João Felix fan. I wasn't necessarily a fan of us re-signing him, given what I
Mhm.
saw during his first loan stint at Chelsea. But are you gonna? Why is he there? That's really ultimately my question. Why is João Felix there, and why is it that Cole Palmer, up until yesterday for me, has had very, very poor showings? And for me, Maresca not taking off Cole Palmer, I feel is it kind of sends the wrong message. Although I kind of understand because look,
Mhm.
let's have it right. Cole Palmer's the talisman of the team, especially with everything going forward. He's
Mhm.
definitely the talisman of the team. So I get it. I don't want to take my Maverick off because he can do something at any time. But at some point, Maresca, you've got to show the players as well that you are running a meritocracy. And what I mean by a meritocracy is that you play on merit. You play well, you stay playing. You don't play too well, sometimes you need to get hooked. I've seen De Bruyne get hooked from games. I've seen other Mavericks get hooked from games at Chelsea Football Club that have not been up to standard. And it's got to be done sometimes. A message has got to be sent. We can't allow players to get comfortable in their positions knowing that regardless of what happens, more times out of 10, I'm going to get my opportunity. I
Mhm.
think that needs to be addressed. Maresca needs to be able to use and utilize the squad that he has. There's no point in crying over spilt milk. Let's because you ain't got the players that you want or you're not a fan of some of the players. Unfortunately, tough. That's part of the job of
Yeah.
being a manager is that you have to work with the tools that you are given. Even if you're not 100% happy with them, make something happen.
Yeah, because it's not because you don't rate a player that doesn't mean the player can't doesn't have quality or can't come in and change the thing. And I think Maresca has to address this because here's what I'm thinking, right? Cole Palmer is not in his final form yet, right?
Hmm.
So you substituting him in certain situations like this when he's not up to par will kind of manufacture or give a catalyst for him getting into that next level to say, hey, I just wasn't good enough today. And for me to solidify myself on the field to say, okay, no matter what, I'm never getting substituted. I have to hit a certain level of performances, consistency, week in, week out. And against and within this season, we've seen similar performances where he just hasn't showed up. And the thing
Yeah.
is, we have players on the bench that can come. You give them 20 minutes, they could change the game, right? Yeah, and it's not like Mariska is it's not like Maresca did it once before where the fan base can say, well, he did it against such and such team and it didn't work out, nothing changed. So why are we complaining? Why are we asking him to make? He's never done it before. So
Yeah.
until that happens and Joao Felix definitely comes in and doesn't do anything, or he makes certain changes and they don't do anything, then the question is always going to be asked. He normally says in the press conference that Cole has to know how to manage his moments. No, Batman, you have to know how to manage these moments. Because
Yeah.
what if Cole Palmer is just having one of those days and every player in the world has one of those days? What do you do? Cole Palmer is not at the level yet where he's unsubstitutable.
No. No. Exactly. And you also have to look at the squad around as well. Like they're all roughly around the same age group where they still got a lot to play for in terms of proving themselves.
Mhm,
So that message needs to be made abundantly clear. Um, I think a lot of the problem as well is Maresca doesn't trust his bench
mhm,
in certain competitions. Premier League, I think he's very, very cautious about using some of the options on the bench, and sometimes that is down to his
mhm,
detriment.
mhm,
Like you see against Everton.
mhm,
For me, one of the several things that stood out for me was Malo Gusto
mhm.
and just how he, for me, cannot perform that role. And I think you're highlighting more of his weaknesses, asking him to do that.
Than his strengths, yes.
Yeah. And then when I look at that, it asks me the question, why do we have Ronaldo Vega? Why is he there? Because isn't he this versatile guy that can play in the defense midfield and he's also left footed and he's suited
Mhm,
to play left back? Why are we not using him?
mhm.
Because
Like,
if he's meant to be, because we're told, right, not obviously by the club, but a lot of fans tell us that we made the right decision to get him over Calafiori. But I
yes.
see Calafiori playing Premier League games.
Mhm. I'm hearing that he's supposed to be better than California. I'm hearing we pump fake Arsenal to actually get Renato Vega.
So what are we doing with that? We just mentioned Jean Felix. Um it's just things like that. Is it that the manager is trying to send a message to the board? Is it just the manager's just he's just written off these players? Are they just getting minutes here and there as a message to clubs that these players might potentially be, whatever it is,
Or
now's not the time?
or playing a bit of devil's advocate here. It could be a stage in their development.
You
Again, we
reckon?
are
So
dealing with
that's
young
also
players.
a possibility. Yeah,
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 because
yeah,
again, we are dealing with young players. It's not like we're dealing with 27s, 28-year-olds. It could just be a stage in their development where Maresca doesn't trust the likes of Renato Vega, where he lost a little bit of trust in Noni Madueke, and where
uh-huh.
he's trying to get another level out of Joao Felix. Because the few times I saw Joao Felix play in the Premier League, he looked electric.
Yeah,
But up until a point where the finishing is not there yet, and then you have fans still questioning Joao Felix. So I'm gonna be honest, he's done so much good in the short term space. I kind of just want to chalk it up to a stage in their development, and not just the players, but the manager
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
developing himself to kind of see work out where these players play.
That's why I don't want to be overly critical either. I'm not gonna come out all guns blazing because listen, all things considered, the manager's done well, you
Mhm,
know. And if we really look at it for what it is, and we're being fair, my expectation this season was top four, max. That was my expectation.
mhm,
And another thing that I knew was, given the average age of this squad and what I know about young players and developing players,
mhm.
is that inconsistency is a thing.
Yeah.
And in most extreme cases, we've seen a small dip in Cole Palmer's form. So that shows you even the best youngsters can have a dip in form.
Mhm,
And we're seeing it in the squad now, potentially.
mhm.
Hopefully not. So right now, this is where I need to see mentality, because look, it's not the end of the world yet. Even as disappointed as I am with that Fulham result, we've got a decent cushion for the top four target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My disappointment just comes in the fact that I want to finish above Arsenal because I
Yeah.
hate them.
And to be
Go ahead.
honest, my disappointment come because it's a game that we should be winning.
We should be
Let's
winning.
say if it was
Yeah.
against this Liverpool, or if it was against not City, but it was against Arsenal. While I hate losing to Arsenal, it's more stomachable if that's the case. It's more understandable because it's another top quality team and these can happen. But
Yeah.
when you saw how we lost the game and just how it all outplayed, both against Fulham and Everton, it left me wanting more.
Yeah.
Firstly, let's go back to the most recent one they lost. We lost the game with the manager making two subs. No, clock it. We lost the game by something we were begging for our manager to do, which was make subs. We
Right. Yeah.
lost the game. I don't know if you guys are deeping it. We lost the game from another manager doing this. You know what? We're already losing. Let me trust my bench. Muniz and Wilson came on and we looked knackered. We looked knackered. We looked tired, right? You're telling me we don't have quality on the bench that's at least level with Muniz and Wilson?
The big facts.
Bro,
That's a very, very good point.
I can give you multiple scenarios and let's count them all. Let's count some of the scenarios where we could have probably seen some change, right? One one of the things you can change without changing much is firstly switch the two wingers because they can both play right and left wing easily, right?
Yep.
See if you can get change under there. That doesn't work. If that doesn't work, one, get Gusto off the field, or keep Gusto. Yeah, get Gusto off the field and introduce Renata Vega and have Tosin out on the right in a quote unquote right back side, but Cooker is gonna step into the middle of the field, so he's gonna be a back three, and so Tosin's the right sided centre back. Cool. That's also an option. If you don't want to do that, you could get you could keep the same back four, have Gusto stay as a flat right back, the natural right back, which is his best position. Have
Exactly.
Kukurea still inverted, but then you could pull Sancho, play Felix. You could pull Neto, play Parma on the right, and then Nkunku on the 10. Or or even playing Mark Gue, because for me, the pressing against Fulham was very woeful. It wasn't at the same standard as it was in the past couple of games. So you could bring in Mark Gue just for the energy and just for the pressing. We even saw a opportunity Nkunku got when he tried to press the defender.
Yeah.
I argue with you if that was Mark Gue, that would have at least been a goal or a chance better than what was created. So there's multiple scenarios that he could have tried to kind of turn one goal into two
Mm.
and then shut up shop. If you wanted to go, if you wanted to go defensive, you could sub Enzo, sub one of the sub. Oh, perfect. The fourth option just came to me. Sub Gusto and put on a Chempong and tell him to stay back. With his physicality and him not doing the whole inverted thing, he would be a much better option than Malagusco.
I
Because what
agree.
that does offensively as well, you tell Neto to stretch the pitch, stay wide, and you get closer to goal. Or Sancho, whoever is on that side. There's
Yeah.
multiple different options there that you could have played to either secure the 3 points, or add to the goal to definitely get the 3 points. Right? And
Hmm.
even after the goal went in, you could have still made those subs to kind of secure the point. Because the
I
guys were
agree.
tired, bro.
And you know, and you know what as well, and why I purposely mentioned Jean Felix. Both times, or every time I've seen him play against Fulham, he's cooked them.
Yep. And he's
And
he's a natural ball carrier, bro. So him on the ball, bringing the ball upfield, you're going to have to foul him, or he's going to get by you to create a chance,
right, there's
which
that.
relieves overall pressure.
There's yeah, exactly. There's that. So that's one of the reasons why I couldn't understand why you didn't at least throw him on. My other thing was Nkunku, bro. My opinion on Nkunku, and I felt this for for a while now, actually. I think he's checked out mentally, personally.
Mm.
I think he has. I think he's not happy with his situation at Chelsea. I feel like he feels that he should be playing or should have at least a chance or a run of games, which to be fair, he hasn't had.
That's true.
And yeah, and I can just see by his body language and he's just not interested. And I honestly think that there needs to be nipped in the bud. We
Yeah,
can't have
because
that
it
in the
because it
squad.
can affect other players in the squad as
Can't
well.
have that in the squad, especially not now, especially not in the position that we're in. It needs to be nipped in the bud very, very quickly. Something needs to be done. I don't think we're going to get rid of him in January. I doubt that will happen. But
Mm,
at least do something to cater to the player to at least let him know, look, you're here for now, you're not
mm,
going. But we
mm,
will facilitate a move for you in
mm,
summer.
mm,
Talk to your agent, see what clubs are interested, and invite bids. We hear
mm.
Bayern are interested. Go and do something over there because you could do us a favor maybe. But that's a conversation
No,
for
that's not happening, bro. Bro, if it's Mateus Tell, then maybe. But if it, bro, we just don't have. We're gonna give up Nkunku to get Musi, bro. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening. There's no space in the squad for him unless you're gonna play Palmer right
you're gonna be telling me this every single week.
every week. Well, I will be here every week, bro. It's not happening, bro.
Until this guy puts pen to paper, I'm gonna be a believer. But anyway, I digress. Look, in Kunku, I think we should just that's it for him. And I thought what you said about Giyu was right. Now I think he's still a bit off it in terms of Premier League level. I won't lie to you. But what I would rather is a player that's going to give 100% and at least try
Yes,
and show something and impress instead of somebody who is mentally checked out and not interested.
brother.
Bec-
Sometimes that's all you need. A
Because
willing runner.
yeah,
That's all you need sometimes.
because no matter how much talent that you've got and the disparity of talent between them, if one doesn't want to fulfill that talent or potential where they're at, you're better off going with the less talented one because at least they're gonna try, and with their trying, you're gonna see improvements and results eventually. So I'd much rather that.
Mhm.
So I think that definitely needs to be addressed. And you made some great points, man. I feel like some of those tactical changes, just from a tactical perspective, could have changed things. Could have
Easily,
100% changed things easily.
easily, easily. And I think it goes back to just. I wish Maresca is just honest because he's been honest to an extent, but be honest. Like, tell us these players just aren't the level where
Hmm.
you trust them yet, but they're getting there. Just tell us
Yeah,
that, and then we stop asking these nonsensical
because I
questions.
would understand if he came out and said that, I would fully get it. I
Yeah,
would
because
fully get it.
yeah, who wouldn't? You're a new coach. You're still trying to understand where they fit in the system, and they haven't built up the level of um trust in whether it's how they operate or whether they
Hmm.
understand your tactics. Just tell us that. Just tell us that. Tell us the truth, because you say one thing but you do the complete opposite mid game. Make it
Yeah,
make sense.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But what I think has been shown as well. It's still very early, but this is one of the reasons why I said, like, outside of the mathematical perspective,
Yeah,
which obviously is very important, we're not in the title race
we are not.
because
We are not.
I've said before there are still little things that need to be addressed.
The
Now I don't.
intangibles.
Yeah, now I don't listen. By me saying we're not in a title race, it's no disrespect to the team because if you ask me, is there a clear improvement between last season and now? Absolutely. It's almost night and day. It's almost night and day.
Hmm.
And it's been very impressive. But remember, we have success in our recent memory. We know better than most what a title winning team looks like. Remember, us and City, we are the last two really to be winning that title. Leicester, I'm not really going to count, but it's
And
really us and
Liverpool.
City and Liverpool. Those three teams. We know what a squad winning a squad looks like, a title winning squad. We're not there, but I'll tell you something. We're close. We just need several,
We
just
need
a
fine
few.
tuning. And
That's it. Goalkeeper, a depth for the fullbacks, striker. And I think we can work around that. We can
yeah,
mount a
yeah,
challenge with that.
yeah.
I
Because
think.
one of the things I wanted to discuss as well is the whole winger situation, because people are saying Neto played right back yesterday. No, before I say this is not a slight on Neto. This is
Mhm.
not a preference to Madueke or a slight on Madueke either. This has to do with the tactics and with what the tactics and me addressing the attributes that we have on the squad.
Yeah.
No, Neto was picking up right back shifts yesterday, right? And I see people come out and defending this. I'm not defending this because early on in the season when Madueke was picking up those positions, he was getting cooked left,
Cooked.
right,
Yeah.
and center, right? When we told people that Madueke was in the squad because of work rate, what did they tell us? Didn't they tell us that that was a load of bull?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why don't you keep the same energy for Neto, right? And
Agree.
even then, when I acknowledge that, I was still criticizing Madueke for simple reason: the opportunities you got to go forward, you didn't take them. The opportunities you got to roast your man, even though you're doing a good defensive shift, you didn't take them. What did we see from yesterday from Madueke, from Pedro Neto, and what did we see on Sunday from Pedro Neto? It's the same thing. So that says to me, you're asking our wingers to be too defensive.
Yes. Yeah. Because for me, if you look at Pedro Neto's
Peak man.
profile before coming to Chelsea,
Yeah.
right? He was not scared to line up his player and try and beat him. We see it sometimes on the one-off here and there at Chelsea,
Mm.
but I feel at times where he could have gone direct at his man, he's gone backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And I don't,
I do look. I do in terms of the defensive shift. I appreciate that from my wingers, but to an extent.
but man, if I'm gonna be honest, yesterday I don't appreciate it at all because we lost the game. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
see.
of
I want
course.
to
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
I want to see that shift when it's either 1-1 or it's 2-0, and we need you to get. That's when I
Yeah,
want to see it. I don't want
yeah,
to see it all
exactly,
game. If we're
exactly.
2-1 down or if we're just 1-0 down, I want to see you more attacking to get that second goal. And then after that second goal, if you want to track back, if you want
Yeah.
to make sure we get the win, then you do that. Don't do that when we're 2-1 down. I don't want to see that. That's not what
Hmm.
you're on the field for.
No, I agree. I fully echo that, bro. I thought that's why I said in terms of Not all the time, but sometimes. And those sometimes are in particular scenarios, one of which you just described perfectly. You know what I mean? So there's that. And another thing is Jadon Sancho, bro. I refuse to believe, I really refuse to believe what I saw Jadon Sancho doing at Borussia Dortmund, being direct, taking on players, doing the quick 1-2s in the box with the other player. That's not just disappeared. A lot of safe backwards passing, a lot of. I just think he plays too safe with the skill set he's got, man. And how many times you see that goal we scored against Tottenham? We've
Yeah.
seen it before. That's not the first time I've seen Sancho do that.
Mhm.
We've seen this at Dortmund. So what is it?
I don't know, bro. Honestly, I don't know if it's instruction from the manager or it's a consequences of the fullbacks that we have in the squad. Because when we didn't have Kukurea, people told me he was the biggest miss against Everton. Cool, we had Kukurea against Fulham. What then? What then
Wow.
on Jadon Sancho side? I just genuinely, you know what I genuinely think it is? Because
Mm,
majority of the match yesterday, Palmer was over there, not Enzo, and he links up better with Enzo.
yeah.
Them two, along with Kukurea, which makes them three, retains the ball better, and then we see a better version of Sancho. He needs to stop having Palmer drift out on the left hand side and
Palmer's
stay
yeah,
in the right half space.
yeah, because the thing is Palmer's you can clearly see Palmer's been given that freedom to just throw it across that line. And when you do that, look, he's got the right to do it, he's earned the right to do it. But when you do that, you've got to learn how to respect the other player's space.
Yeah,
Or the other player's got to
Yeah,
be
because
willing
then
to set
Enzo
up
has
your
to switch. And I'd
yeah,
rather Enzo being in the left half space because the whole chemistry on the left half space is a lot better when Enzo's over there. Plus, we still get that brilliant cross switch ball from Enzo to the right hand side.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So I'd rather the link up on that side. Big up, Robert. Thank you for joining, bro.
Yes, yes,
You're
yes.
muted. We can't hear you. No, can't hear you.
It's still muted.
Yeah, what? Yeah. What's up now? Can you hear us? We get check your mic, bro. Check your mic. When Robert gets his audio situation sorted, he'll join in on the conversation here. But yeah, that I don't when he's linking when you look at the Spurs game and the games that he's played brilliantly before, he has the link up between Enzo, Kukurea, and himself on that side, and they have a chemistry and an understanding over there versus when Enzo's just floating around.
Yeah,
So, and I think that's a consequence of when the left back is Gusto, and when Palmer switches that space with Enzo Fernandez, and I
hmm
just think Palmer can have that floating role all he wants, but like you said, respect the player's space.
yeah. That's it. But and that's what Palmer also has to realize. I think he needs to realize more so than the others. But Sancho also has to realize that if that's what the game plan is, then you need to know when to evacuate that space and let Cole take it, and then you're gonna have to hold his space.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
rotate.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like a dovetail thing. You know what I mean? You're gonna
Yeah.
have to learn when to do that. And the thing is Sancho can play down the middle as well. He can play make.
Mhm.
Like my profile of Sancho, this is one of the reasons why I'm happy with having him at the club. Is I see him instead of like a traditional winger, I see him as a wide playmaker. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Yeah, like a left midfielder
Yeah, I
versus a
see him
left
as
winger.
yeah because he can do that. And then on the other side, when Noni's playing, you've got the completely direct opposite of profile where this is the winger that's got to line up his fullback, try and beat him, get
And
to the
go on the
byline and
outside.
put in a cross, or he's gonna cut inside and he's gonna try and shoot. A
Mhm.
more direct winger. Those those profiles complement each other.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
They were
why I'm
bro. This fan base was complaining about it earlier in the season. I think Pedro Neto is closer to Sancho than he is to a
yes.
player like Noni Madueke. Robert, did you get your audio sorted? Ooh, we can't hear you.
You
Check your
can't hear me
mic, bro.
still? Oh,
Oh, we
bro.
can't
Oh
hear you now.
no,
We can't
no,
hear you.
yeah, you're here now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, you're good. You're solid
Yeah.
now.
All right,
What's
cool,
going
cool.
on, bro? What's going on?
Oh no, not much, man. Just hooking up some breakfast for the boys. But yeah, yeah, we're good. We're good.
Good, good. Thank you for joining us here. I know you wanted to have a discussion with Guni here. We're just going over some of the things that Maresca could have changed and the chemistry between within the squad and the loss and the draw and we're seeing it so far. Granted, we can excuse not necessarily excuse me, we can accept it because we all wanted top four, but we're just going over some of the finer details as to why we're not necessarily the best or the biggest title challengers so far.
I hear it. The hiccups are always gonna come. We're not a perfect squad. We're not a perfect team. And I think currently the injuries to some of the players or the circumstances surrounding others, like having if all was good, having Noni and Mudrik on the bench, having Reese healthy, Lavia healthy, would have made a big difference, especially in the last couple of games. But as much as we applaud our depth, just like they get to a point where it's just a little bit too much. When the injuries start hitting us, or the suspension, or the other circumstances like Modric or Net or Noni or Vega, whatever the case may be. So not having those options, even KDH on the bench, it just limits what the manager can do. I know people wanted him to make changes or to do something, but there's just at some point, like I coach a team here of even just young amateur kids, and at some point you want to make change, but you're like, I know that player is knackered, but I'd rather him knackered in the game than somebody else coming off the bench fresh just because of what they offer the team, or the balance of the team. Um, I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, the results against Fulham, I just attribute that to, we just have one too many injuries, one too many players missing, and we couldn't refresh, couldn't bring on fresh legs. We provide the same balance, the same attacking threat, and the same balance, going defensively, and those changes weren't available. The ones that were available were luxury players that really provide one balance going forward, but you know defensively they don't provide that same balance, and so it was a hard puzzle to kind of try to assemble from Maresca's standpoint, I think.
I genuinely think he still could have changed something, bro. Like the boys on the field were knackered, and I just think there's a couple scenarios that he could have gone for, whether at 1-1 or 2-1 or even at 1-0 to get the game closed up. I said it earlier in the stream, so we're not gonna go over that again. Yeah. So let me ask you, Guni, where what are you expecting from here? Before we even get there, let's finish the topic on the winger situation we have at the club.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Given the run, or given the run of games that you've seen from Pedro Neto, what are the expectations from him? Because because the reason why I ask that, I'm feeling like I've been let down, like I've been sold a lie, like I
So
should be
far,
expecting
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Is that wrong, or is
No,
this
you're
what he
not wrong
brings?
to
Is he more
you're not wrong to
creative
feel
than?
that way. You're not wrong to feel that way. You're definitely not wrong to feel that way. Now, if you were to go further and say, you know what, it's been a waste of money, he's got to go, then I say you feel wrong, that you're wrong for that. But you didn't say that. Um, Look, I'm gonna give part of it the benefit of the doubt that this is his first season at Chelsea. I'm also gonna consider as well that this is the first time that he's been available for this long since I can certainly remember. Remember, his injury record was
Yeah.
horrible,
hmm
right? So I'm going to slightly allow him to have an adoption period for this season. Obviously, it's not about putting your feet up and cruising. Yes, it's about putting in the work. But I do need to see better because the ability that I've seen from this guy, we've not seen it fully at Chelsea. We've not seen it yet. It's like I said, we ain't seen the Pedro Neto that's constantly fearless and going past players, getting into the box and shoot. Remember when he used to play against us at Stamford Bridge?
Bro, this man would tear us a new one, bro.
We ain't seen that. Yeah, so this is why with him, I'm willing to be patient. I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna jump the gun like how I did with certain players last season, because that can come back and they can bite.
You learned.
Yeah,
You learned.
it's with certain players I've definitely been humbled. But no, you're not wrong to feel that way. But I do have faith that there is still more to come and we will see it. I think so.
Okay, okay. And what do you think, Robert?
I think with Neto, the biggest adjustment is going from being the man at Wolves, where he's more at Wolves. He was more like he was the Ed Hazard version. Like he can he doesn't need to track back or whatever. Whatever Wolves had the ball, give it to Neto and let him do some magic. Here, that's not the case. He's not the man. I think he's not the number one option. He's not the number two. He's there are at least 4 or 5 players that in the squad are more important than him, at the very least. At Wolves,
Yeah,
he was the most important player. So if he's not there, it's catastrophic. So there is an adjustment that you gotta do mentally to going from I'm gonna go from the man to just being a big parts player that can get rotated, here and there depending on the match circumstances. And I get like at Wolves, he wouldn't get taken off. Like if he's healthy, he's playing full 90 every game, every week,
yeah,
bar injuries. But here, it's like, is Neto starting or is Noni? Are we starting Neto on the left or is it Sancho? So it's like, he has to adapt not only to a new system, not only to a new environment, but also to mentally adapting to not being that guy, that main man for a team. Like we saw when Mbappe went from PSG to Madrid, the performance is not quite the same yet, just because at Madrid you're one of many. At PSG you were the man, and
Mhm.
so there is some adjust that needs to take place from Neto to acknowledge that I'm not the main man here. I gotta still bring my best, even if I come on as a sub for the last 20 minutes. I gotta do the best. I gotta bring the Neto that people saw at Wolves, within a certain context. But it's a first season. I'm willing to give him the time, and I believe he will adapt. And once he's adapted that mentally, I think it'll be much easier for him to kind of put on those performances that we saw of him at Wolves. And yeah, so I mean, I'm not worried about him. Could we see and say we're expecting Neto to have like last season at Wolves, like 7 assists already in the season or 10 assists already in the season by the midway point? Probably. That would be unfair of on Neto to try and expect that same performance that he put on at Wolves, just because he's not needed as much here as he was at Wolves.
Okay. I'm for what people was touting him up to be like he's a guaranteed starter, he's gonna walk in the squad, he's gonna immediately improve the squad. At this very moment, I'm not seeing much difference between him and Noni. If anything, Noni has better DNA, but then it still feeds into both you guys' rhetoric where Noni has been here longer than Wolves, than Pedro Neto. And Noni has, a better chemistry has built a chemistry with the team from last season than Pedro Neto. So that could be why. I know people wanna hear the thoughts on the disciplinary reasons or whatever why Renato Vega and Noni wasn't in the squad. Listen, if the coach is saying you're not training well, you're not training well. What do you want me to say? What can any one of us say? If you're not on the field, we can't critique it. That's it. If you can't even make the bench or make the squad, we can't critique it. You just gotta do better. I'm not gonna read too much into it. Like, bro, I'm not there. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? What do you guys
yeah.
think?
I mean, listen, man. It's like what you said. What can you do if he's not behaving himself? If he's not training properly or whatever, that's between him and the manager.
Yeah,
And
bro.
as far as I'm concerned, It's now Noni's responsibility to do what's necessary to get it back into the good books. There's not much we can do about it. Sometimes this happens in football.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I
he's
mean?
young, so
Yeah, especially with young players. Sometimes you got to sit them down and let them know, listen, yeah, you need to humble yourself a little bit and remember that you are not in control and you are not an immortal in this team. I will
mhm,
sit you down if I feel like you're too big for your bridges or you feel like you can do less work in training and still start games. This is not how the top level works, my friend. So
mhm,
sometimes it happens, and it's not just Noni. It could be Colwell, it could be anyone, it could be Lavia, it could be Caicedo, it could be any one of our players. It
mhm,
happens more frequently than what people think. It's just that managers don't always come out and say this is the reason as to why he's not
mhm.
playing, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's not surprising.
yeah.
You're muted
Um,
again, bro.
Oh no, he came back. He
Oh, no,
came
you're
back.
good now. You're good. Sorry, go ahead.
this is a tough one, just simply because this is not the first time that this has happened with Noni. This
Mhm,
is his third time now since Maresca been here. I think the first time happened in August. The second time, I believe in October, Maresca said the same thing again, and then this is the third time where it's actually been the prior two times he was on the bench. He was dropped on the bench. This is the first time that he's been completely taken out of the match day squad,
mhm.
because of training inconsistencies. I'm all for, if you don't train, you don't start, you lose your place, but it's becoming more of a frequent occurrence
Mm.
with Noni, and that, I've said it before. Not only you can either be a guinea pig that Maresca uses just so everybody else can adapt to the system, and then next season, once there is somebody better than you, you get binned, or you can be one of those players that Maresca looked at and say you are a core part. You as a player and the skill set you bring are a core part of my system and of this squad. Or Maresca can look at you just like, I'm only using you for your skill sets. But you as a player, I don't have much use for. As soon as I get a player that offers your quality and more professionalism, you're gone. And
Mhm.
I think
that
that's
none
a
is going
good
to have to
point.
face.
That's a good point because, like, now I'm gonna ask: do you think in the back of his mind he knows this Esteval kid is picking up all these awards over there in Brazil, right? He's highly rated and he's gonna be here in the summer. Where is my future at the club? Do you think that's what it is, or like because the way it's looking for Noni, I think he might be a dispensable player.
Mhm.
I think the manager's looking at him and saying, look, he's a good squad option, but when Esteval comes in, he might not be necessary for the team, especially if the mentality continues.
Yeah, but I think it's becoming that now, right? If the mentality doesn't pick up, because you still got the Modric situation, we don't know how that's going to be resolved.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. So that's another potential spot. And another thing, Neto can easily play on the left hand side, and Esteval said he's more preferred to be
On the right side.
yeah, yeah. Esteval said he wants to maybe play 10 or play on the right side. And on top of that, Esteval still has to adapt, go through the whole adaptation period that someone that played in the league, which is Pedro Neto, is going through now. So can you imagine from another league, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and with these performances from Pedro Neto, it's solely on Noni. Because what if Noni comes back at Ipswich, bangs a couple goals, picks up the mentality, and goes on a run of form? That's where that starting spot is his, isn't it? So it's at a crucial juncture. In my genuine opinion, it's at a crucial juncture. If he doesn't pick up the mentality and doesn't pick up his training and his performances to make match day squads, and when he gets his opportunity, takes those opportunities, whether it be 15 minutes here for hard running, hard pressing, or starting and getting a goal and assist and a couple goals, it's going to be long for him. No, this is not necessarily only at Chelsea. You still need to perform to get a quality move in the summer. You still gotta dead all of these not training well rumors between now and the summer. Doesn't he not? To get a quality move.
No,
So
100%. It
either way
does.
you take it, whether he's going to be at Chelsea or elsewhere, he still needs to pick up his mentality and go on a form.
To address Guni's question is, like, as Noni, read the tea leaves regarding Esteval and just determining my future is not here. If that's his mentality, then to be honest with you, I don't want him at the club. Just
Facts.
be, just
Facts.
Yeah, yeah.
because you as a player, I don't care who comes in. I'm this the last 2 seasons. This has been my spot. You're gonna have to work hard to take my spot. But if Noni just sitting there, be like, well, us Esavai coming.
Give up. Yeah,
I
give
mean,
up before he even comes through the door,
like
bro.
Yeah,
What
that's
he,
a
kind of
he
horrible
mentality that?
mentality.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's coming. So I'm gonna relax just because I know I'm gonna be sold to wherever the case may be, and where I get sold to, that's where I'm gonna go put in the hard work because that's where my future lies. Then get rid of him. That
Yeah,
Right now.
100%.
mentality,
Right now.
that
Regardless, yeah.
mentality is like you've been the most likely the starting right winger for Chelsea the last 2 seasons or season and a
Bro,
half.
season, because remember Palmer played the whole man.
The last season. I don't care who comes in. I don't care if it's Vinicius Junior or Mbappe.
Or
You,
Rodrigo.
this is your starting spot. They have to snatch it from you. Don't just
They have
give
to
it. Be
take
like,
it from
oh,
you, yeah.
Exactly.
yeah,
Don't just give it
take
to
it
them on
from.
a platter.
Yeah,
Facts, bro.
don't just
Facts.
expect for you to come here and take my spot. And if Noni has the mentality, that, you know what, it's a better player that gets more hyped that's coming in for me, in my position, then I'm just gonna be
Bro,
lazy and whatnot. Then that
sell him
mentality
January
there,
1st. Sell him
that's
Get
sell
rid of
him
him, yeah.
next week Tuesday.
yeah,
If
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
mentality, sell him next week Tuesday.
That's
We'll
yeah.
we'll
If
we'll,
if
we'll deal with it.
if he's being this lazy because he sees his future not at Chelsea and because of Esteban is coming, then because the first time it happened, he got dropped and then responded at Wolves. The second time, I believe, is that he
He
performed
scored a
quite
goal to
well.
keep get us the draw against Crystal Palace, I think.
And this is the third time. Maybe he will come in and bang a goal in the Ipswich and go and play well in a couple games and whatnot, and then this happens again 2 months from now.
I
Like
hope it doesn't happen again, bro.
if this
Can't keep
continues
doing
to
this.
happen, then it's just
Sell
like
him.
Noni. You know what Maresca wants. You know what Maresca needs. What he wants from you, and he's disciplined you multiple times throughout the season. If by the end of the season you don't get the message, with all due respect, it's been real to have you over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
time to go.
bro, because we can't keep doing this because here's how I'm looking at it, right? Can we agree that the Pedro Neto of the last couple of games has not been the Pedro Neto, right? Can we three agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Why
100%.
why can't he see that and clock it? This is my opportunity back in the team. This is my opportunity to try and solidify this right wing spot. That's my frustration with him because the balance between him and Sancho is perfect. One's gonna shoot. Yes, we have these people online that are gonna complain. Oh, he shoots too much. But at least we're getting shots off. At least some of them
Because
would
if you're relying
ricochet.
on the other winger, you're not going to get any shots at all. So there has to be a medium.
You see me? At least he's cutting back and now he's adding crossing to his game that are not just spamming crosses. They're meaningful crosses. You're getting assists. So
Yeah, yeah.
at least he's taking by people and going by the byline and trying to create something. These things create more opportunities than not, right? Because I think last game we were lethargic and we could have used something different. You're telling
Hmm.
me you don't see this is your option to try and lock down this right wing spot, bro? If you don't see it, sell him January 1st. Sell him January 1st.
That's always been my problem with Noni is his professionalism. I've never questioned his talent. As far as tech ons and whatnot, obviously we all knew he had to improve on his end product, which he has done. To be fair to him, but my problem has always been his professionalism. Like my problem, the way of looking from outside, I think I've told you this, Javon. I think he's more concerned with being a celebrity than being an elite footballer, and that's always been my concern with him. And you know, and the fact that you are saying all these things, you see Neto's form, you should look at it and saying this is my opportunity to solidify the spot. I don't care what Estevan is coming next season. This is my spot for me to keep and for him to take to snatch from me. Like
Mm.
all of those, like elite players with elite mentality or professionals, you wouldn't have to ask twice for them
Right?
to take that on board. But Noni, it seems like you have to correct all the time, and yeah, I don't know, man. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. Like we'll with this one, we'll just have to sit back and kind of see how it plays out because
Watch this. Drogba watched Eto, Shevchenko, top level strikers come to Chelsea Football Club. And do you know what he said? Didier Drogba, bruv.
Facts. They could rub him. They could touch his spot. We're like,
Yeah, I don't care what your
you
name is.
know me.
My name, I'm Didier Jogba. It don't matter. Yeah,
Yeah,
you see
exactly.
them. Yeah, them kind of players you can't. You see, that's what I miss, and that's the mentality that you need. That's
Yeah,
what you
bro,
need,
and
man.
that should be the mentality to throughout the entire squad. One last topic before, because I know Guni you gotta go, and we kind of want to keep it around like the 55 minute mark.
Cool.
You mentioned the striker. You mentioned the striker. We gotta have a conversation about the striker role, not
Yes.
necessarily to bin Jackson, because we've seen a upward trajectory,
Not
but
anymore.
because we cannot rely on Nkunku to come in, it's at that
Yeah.
point where do we against Ipswich? Do you want to see Mark you get some minutes, or is against Ipswich the next two days the transfer window open? Go get me another striker to complement or
I'll be
compete
honest
with
with you.
Jackson.
I'll be honest with you. I want Jackson to start against Ipswich. You know why? I
No,
want
no, I'm
him.
saying like minutes later in the game to see, instead
Oh,
of
okay.
Nkunku coming on for that role is what I'm
Yep.
saying.
Um, it depends because I think that we can beat Ipswich comfortably by 3 or 4 goals or so. That's how I feel. So for me, if it does go that way, it's an opportunity for our strikers to get some confidence by scoring goals. Scoring goals breeds confidence. That's how I see it. But if it's if it's squeaky bum time and we're holding on to a lead or we desperately need a goal, I'm not looking at Nkunku. I'm not looking at Nkunku to come on because, like I said, I feel like mentally he's checked out of the club. So I don't want to play like that playing. Um, Jackson, you guys remember I wanted this guy at the club at every opportunity, out of the club at every opportunity. Wanted him gone, but he done what he was supposed to do, and he put me in the mud, and he proved me wrong to show that I can contribute something at my Chelsea Football Club. Although I don't feel he's the finished article, and I still don't entirely feel he's the answer for us going forward in terms of winning trophies. I still want him to keep. I want to keep him at the club as an option because he's shown me enough and proved me wrong enough to let me know he could just prove me wrong again and to go on to become that player. So I'm willing to accept that. I don't want him gone. But we do need another striker, 100%. Because this is the thing is there are opportunities that Nicholas Jackson did miss during this season that told me this is why we're top four contenders are not title contenders. Because some strikers, right, this is what makes a lot of strikers elite, aside from the amazing things that they do. One of the things I look at is concentration and composure. Those two things. A striker might not receive a ball for 88 minutes of the game. He might be ball watching or chasing the ball 88 minutes of the game. But that one chance or two chances that fall to his feet, right? He's taking it. That's called a clinical striker. You need that. More times out of 10, you need that. Unless your front three are scoring at a rate of what Liverpool were doing when they had Salah, Mane, and Firmino, that's a different situation because the goals between them, they're all getting double digits each minimum. So you
Mm.
can do that. But we don't have that. So we need that striker that is going to, when that chance falls to that striker, he's got a very high conversion rate. Jackson's not there yet. He's not there yet. So that's why I say we need another striker.
Robert.
I agree with you to some degree that we need another striker. But for me, it's more to deputize for Jackson than to take Jackson's spot. Just because I believe, for instance, as you said, you give Mane, Salah, and Firmino example. Like you can say a co-palmer. Our Salah is probably a co-palmer. Like
Uh-huh.
we can say Noni, as a goal scoring winger, can be your Mane here and there if he was
Yeah.
as professional as Sadio Mane.
Yeah,
You
if
know
he
what I'm saying?
improves, he could get to that level.
Yeah, yeah. The other ones, Neto and Sancho are more creators. That's why you need
Yeah.
another profile. And Maresca was asked about, Liam Delap this morning, and you can say like the first. I took notice. The first thing he said about him is he works hard off the ball. Like if you're a striker that doesn't work hard off the ball, that he does not rate you. The first thing he said about Delap is he's good off the ball, and then he says, "Yeah, he's good on the ball. His understanding of the game is elite." But the first thing he said is he works hard off
He
the
works
ball.
hard off
Uh,
the ball. Mm.
if you're a striker that does not work hard off the ball, this is not the place for you. Like if you cannot press, if you cannot, stop transitions and whatnot, that's why Nkunku is struggling to get minutes. That's why Joao Felix is trying to get minutes. If your off the ball work is not up to par, that's I think Maresca values that more than you banging 30 goals in a season. You
Yeah.
being able to, like Jackson left the pitch yesterday, we were up 1-0. He left the pitch. We conceded 2 goals in what, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
You know, so that alone is what Maresca values more than. Obviously, we want a striker that will lead. If we can get a striker that works well off the ball and banks in 30 goals, oh, happy days. But those unfortunately, like the elite strikers that you can say, the Harry Kane, the Erling Haaland, the Lewandowski, and whatnot. Are they hard pressing strikers off the ball? No, but that's not the profile that Maresca is asking for. And so I agree we need a striker, but I think it's more to deputize for Jackson. Like yesterday's game, if you take off Jackson, you bring on Delap. You still got a presence in the box. You still got somebody that work hard off the ball, and you still got a goal threat that will run in behind, which Nkunku does not offer two or three out of those four. Nkunku is a good goal scorer, does not work hard off the ball, does not offer runs in behind, and does not hold that play as well as Jackson does. And so, to find somebody that can add those aspects to the game is very important. That's I believe the profile of striker that we're looking for, and I believe we do need one. Yes, I agree with you. We 100% need one, but I don't think we just need one that's gonna bang us 30 goals regardless of what he does off the ball. I think Maresca is not interested in a striker that will come in and just score without offering more,
You're gonna be
much
More
more
very
in
work
the
rate.
team.
surprised. You're gonna be very surprised what I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. You see, you see Rory Delap here. I actually rate him very, very highly. I think he's gonna be a top level striker. You see that guy there? So you see when you say you don't want a striker to displace Jackson, you might indirectly do that by signing him because I think he's that good. His hold up play is amazing. His link up play is amazing. His positioning is amazing. His IQ is just there. I like him. I think he's a very good striker.
Get me Cunha blood. Get me
That's the
Guy
thing.
Corres blood.
If you
Get
bring
me Rory Asada.
if you bring
Delap's
if
the
you
best
if you
profile.
bring somebody and just the competition overtakes Jackson, oh, happy days. Like
Yeah, yeah, because that's the
if we bring
competition.
somebody in, yeah, and Jackson becomes number two option, like who wouldn't want Jackson as number two option? Like even Man City would take Jackson as a
Yeah,
number two
yeah,
option.
that's a fact. That's a
Yeah, but
fact.
if the lab becomes brings what Jackson brings off the ball and is more clinical, happy days,
Happy
bro.
days. Happy
I'm
days.
moving. I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's more the archetype that the striker brings to the team, that adds to the overall quality versus just scoring goals. I think the days for a striker just scoring goals, for Chelsea is over. We actually need someone that's going to add a different facet and still can give us the play that we have now. But we're running short on time, so we're gonna wrap it there. Thanks for joining us on the
Let me
Panelist
let
podcast.
me finish with this. Let me finish with this. Yeah. This Chelsea squad, couple players that I like already that I'd like to see at the club. One of them is Dean Huijsen. I think that boy's a quality centre back, and we should be looking at him. Him or his partner Zabani. One of those two should be looking at them. Obviously, you've got my boy Musiala. I'm never gonna ever.
He's
No, no, no,
not
no,
gonna
no,
come
no.
here, Guni. Low it, man.
I'm never gonna give up on him. We need, you know what? Anthony Robinson kind of impressed me against us, and I think he's been a decent left back over the past couple seasons. That's the left back that I wouldn't mind at Chelsea. Him or Kirkes, one of them two. But we do, and the striker. I'd be happy with Rory, or I'd be happy with Duran. Obviously, I'd love to get Jokeres, but I think the way things are going, it's gonna probably be Rory Delap. I think we'll end up
Nothing
getting
wrong with
him.
the lad. And I'll take Gregor Corbell as the keeper. But
I
yeah,
think nah.
Okay,
I,
yeah.
I, I think it'll be Liam Delap as a striker. I think we do need two starting center backs.
I
Like
said Rory. That's his dad.
within new like that 19-year-old that you just mentioned, and I rate Murillo from Forest quite highly.
He's
And
good as well. Yeah,
good.
I
very good.
think I think we get those two center backs. I think our fullback are fine. I think our midfield is solid. You get those two centre back and Delap.
Oh, just before we go, it's Liam the Lap Bad Man.
Yeah, I keep
Get-
calling him his dad's name. His
Bro,
dad's
Liam
Roby
the Lap
Delap.
Bad Man.
Yeah,
Liam the
it's
Lap.
Liam. But his dad, the old school Premier League man know about
Yeah,
Roby
yeah, yeah. We
Delaps and the
know
long
Rory.
throws, man. My bad, my bad.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah,
listen.
yeah.
If we keep picking up injuries, bring back Santa's blood. But I'll leave it right there. Thank you for joining me on the Panelist podcast. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, send this to Chelsea. Give them our give them our thoughts, and bless up. Peace.